Hey and welcome to the Daily Man United News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Erik Ten Hag says Man United must avoid one thing after Bournemouth win. Manchester United manager Erik Ten Hag has said that his team must improve defensively after conceding too many chances in the 3-0 Premier League win over Bournemouth last night. The Red Devils registered a sixth straight win in all competitions yesterday after goals from Casemiro, Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford. They are now 9 points behind leaders Arsenal. Speaking after the game, Ten Hag was pleased with the 3-0 scoreline, but admitted that it was not United's best performance and were sometimes lucky in the defensive department. While the margin of victory could have been bigger, the Dutch tactician acknowledged that goals could have been conceded too, if not for the great saves from uninformed David De Gea. He told BBC Sports Shayman Havis, "I am happy with 3-0, that is obvious and quite clear, but today was not our best game. We didn't play smart as a team and sometimes we were lucky. We scored great goals and should have scored more. We could have conceded two, but great saves from David De Gea. I am not happy with that. It's something we have to avoid." Meanwhile, Ten Hag ruled out any injury for Antony Martial, who went down the tunnel in the second half. He was confident that the Frenchman will feature against Everton in the FA Cup. However, he was far from optimistic over Donny van de Beek's injury. The Dutchman was in tears after an apparent knee injury, and Ten Hag admitted that it does not look that great. United's victory over the Cherries has moved them 5 points clear of 5th place Tottenham Hotspur and 7 in front of arch-rivals Liverpool. They now have an FA Cup third-round tie at home against Everton on Friday before welcoming Manchester City in the much-awaited derby at Old Trafford on January 14. Erik Ten Hag explains why Antony misses out on a squad versus Bournemouth. Manchester United boss Erik Ten Hag has explained why Antony is not even on the bench for Manchester United against Bournemouth. Antony was a starter against Wolves at the weekend, but did not make the squad for yesterday's game. Erik Ten Hag was asked by MUTV why Antony did not make the squad and gave a one-word response. The Dutchman simply said injured when asked about the Brazilian. Former United defender John O'Shea told MUTV, "It's unfortunate, he would have been rubbing his hands thinking he would get some chances." United welcomed back Lisandro Martinez and Diogo Dalot to the bench for the first time since the World Cup, with Scott McTominay and Victor Lindelof also back from illness. AC Milan and former Arsenal striker Olivier Giroud on Manchester United radar. Former Arsenal and Chelsea star Olivier Giroud, currently at AC Milan, is on the radar of Manchester United in the ongoing transfer window, according to The Times via United report on Twitter. The 36-year-old's current contract with the Rossoneri is set to expire at the end of the season. As a result, the striker could be tempted to make a move back to the Premier League. Erik Ten Hag is looking to add reinforcement to his front line. The Dutch manager is interested in adding the France international's experience and goal-scoring ability to the team in January. United are eyeing Giroud as a short-term fix after Cristiano Ronaldo's departure from the club midway through the campaign. The 37-year-old's departure has left Ten Hag with just one natural striker in Antony Martial. As a result, the Red Devils are looking at players who will not put a massive hole in the club's budget. Thus, the Milan striker has emerged as an option for the Old Trafford side. However, the France international is expecting a new deal from the Serie A giants before he becomes a free agent in the summer of 2023. Thus, it remains to be seen how the 36-year-old situation in Italy unfolds. Giroud spent time in the English top flight with Arsenal for 5.5 seasons and then at Chelsea for 3.5 seasons before moving to Milan. Subsequently, the French national helped the Rossoneri lift the Scudetto in the previous campaign after an 11-year gap. The 36-year-old is also a legend for his country, winning the 2018 World Cup with France. Les Bleus also made it to the final of the prestigious tournament this year in Qatar, with the veteran striker playing a pivotal role. United have relied on Marcus Rashford to play up front on several occasions this season. However, he is not a natural striker, and we evidently need a new number 9, but Giroud's age does not make him a compelling buy for the club. Man United target Youssoufa Moukoko demands ridiculous signing on fee from Borussia Dortmund. Manchester United target Youssoufa Moukoko's negotiations with Borussia Dortmund over a contract extension have taken another turn. Yesterday it was reported that Barcelona have practically fallen out of the race for Moukoko, with the German's wage demands a major sticking point. Barca are unable to afford Moukoko's wages and so cannot take him in January. In addition to paying Moukoko what he wants, any club willing to take him will likely have to part with a sum of around 30 million euros. It's likely, however, that this fee could be driven even lower, with Dortmund desperate to sell their star so as to avoid losing him for free in 6 months' time. Borussia Dortmund have offered the goal scorer a new deal, although the two parties still have some way to go with respect to arriving at a compromise. There is still a significant gap in valuation between Moukoko's demands and what Dortmund bosses are willing to offer the 18-year-old. Sky Germany reporter Sven Westerschölze says that in addition to wages, Dortmund and Moukoko's representatives are also in conflict over the player's signing on fee. He relies, the poker around Youssoufa Moukoko continues to falter, not only at different salary expectations, a sticking point in the negotiations with Borussia Dortmund, but also the signing on fee. Moukoko is demanding more than 10 million euros, too much from Borussia Dortmund's point of view. It's unlikely that United will pay Moukoko a 10 million euros signing fee. With the club's cash struggles amidst an imminent takeover, such a fee, compounded with the transfer figures and salary Moukoko want, could place the German out of Ten Hag's reach in January. Manchester United would have to pay 70 million euros to sign Randal Kolo Muani. Manchester United could find it difficult to get a transfer done for Eintracht Frankfurt striker Randal Kolo Muani this January, according to Fabrizio Romano in his daily briefing. The France international has impressed in the Bundesliga and also put in some decent performances for his country at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar this winter. Addressing the recent links with Man United, Romano played down the idea of Kolo Muani moving this January, saying that his asking price would likely be as high as 70 million euros and that it might be worth keeping an eye on the 24-year-old as one to move in the summer instead. United urgently need to make signings up front as soon as possible, with Erik Ten Hag short of depth in that department after the departure of Cristiano Ronaldo, while other attacking players like Anthony Martial, Jadon Sancho and Antony haven't been consistent enough for some time now. Man United fans would surely welcome Kolo Muani, but they may have to wait for the next transfer window. Romano said the following on this situation. Manchester United have been linked with a number of strikers and the latest is Randal Kolo Muani. Still, in January it's more than difficult for any club. There is no intention from Eintracht Frankfurt to sell the player and his price tag is around 70 million euros. I think Kolo Muani alongside Jonathan David is one to watch for this summer. Manchester United loanee Erik hoping for a miracle as he looks to kick on with his career. Manchester United centre-back Erik Bailly says he is hoping for better injury luck in 2023. Bailly made his first start on Monday night since October for Marseille in their win over Montpellier. It was just the third League One start of the season since joining the French side on loan in August for Bailly. Bailly's previous start lasted just 44 minutes against PSG when he went off injured. Injuries have plagued Erik Bailly's career since he joined Manchester United back in 2016. The Ivory Coast international was surplus to requirements at Old Trafford in the summer and was sent out on loan. He is currently under contract until 2024, and United need him to stay fit if there is going to be a chance of offloading him permanently in the summer. Le Fossilien report Marseille have a purchase option as part of the loan move, but only if Bailly participates in 50% of the League One games. He has currently played in just 6 out of 17, so he is currently behind this mark. Bailly played 66 minutes against Montpellier in a 2-1 win. His substitution was just a precaution with a run of fixtures upcoming. Speaking to Foot Marseille, Bailly said, "Are the problems behind me? Every time I said that to myself, I relapsed. I hope that I am not going to come back to these things, and that this injury lets me go, and that I am physically good enough to help the team. You have to invest in your body." Given his past record, Bailly needs a bit of a miracle to stay injury-free between now and the end of the season, but that shouldn't prevent him being positive. Marseille are in 3rd place in Ligue 1, and Bailly could play a vital role in helping them secure a Champions League qualification for next season if he can stay fit. Man United ready to bring forward move for Yann Sommer after Newcastle recall Martin Dubravka. Manchester United are ready to bring forward their move for Borussia Mönchengladbach goalkeeper Yann Sommer following Newcastle's decision to recall Martin Dubravka. The Red Devils signed Dubravka from the Magpies on a season-long loan last summer, but he made just 2 appearances before he was recalled at the turn of the year. United currently have Tom Heaton as the deputy to David De Gea, but it appears they could bring in another shot stopper after the unexpected move from the Magpies. According to TalkSport, the club are planning to bring forward their plans to sign Sommer, whose contract with Mönchengladbach expires at the end of the campaign. United have been in contact with his agent over a free transfer next summer, but they are now aiming to sign him in January, after being left short-handed by Dubravka's return. De Gea has been in a tremendous form between the sticks this season, and he recently starred in the 3-0 win over Bournemouth in 2 world-class saves. The Spaniard is unlikely to be displaced from the number 1 role, but United need a quality backup option. They can't rely on Heaton, who has played 1 competitive game in 3 years. In our view, Sommer would be perfect for the role. He is vastly experienced after 8.5 seasons in the Bundesliga. The Swiss have strong distribution skills and wits with the manager. Mönchengladbach are willing to sell him for around £5 million in January, but United may need to move quickly, considering Bayern München are also weighing up an offer for the 33-year-old. Bayern may guarantee him a starting spot for the season after Manuel Neuer's leg break, but United could still have an advantage with Sommer eager to realize his England dream with the club. Manchester United willing to pay €7.5 million for scintillating Joao Felix. Manchester United are only prepared to pay half of Atletico Madrid's €15 million demands for a Joao Felix loan deal in January. That's according to a report from The Telegraph, who claimed that United won't be stamping up any more than €7.5 million for the 23-year-old. It seems this one has reached an impasse, and it's highly unlikely that the Portugal international will be joining Erik Ten Hag at Old Trafford. The Spanish club are seemingly just demanding far too much money for a loan deal for Felix, with United only prepared to pay a £7.5 million loan fee for the Portuguese ace. This one seems like it won't be happening. The Portugal international currently earns a whopping of £250,000 per week at Atletico, according to Capology. That will obviously represent a huge problem for United, with Atleti demanding that wages are covered in full by any potential suitors. Felix joined Atleti from Benfica in 2019 for €120 million. However, despite his obvious talent, he has struggled to establish himself in the Spanish capital. The Portugal international has backed just 33 goals and 18 assists in 129 games for the La Liga club. That isn't a good enough return on the money that Atleti paid to sign him. However, Felix is an outstanding talent who needs to be utilized properly in the correct system. He has everything needed to go on and become a top-class player. He seems perfectly suited to United's fast and furious attacking style. Unfortunately for United and Ten Hag, it appears as Felix will not be joining in January. I will be uploading daily Man United news show, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.